All right. So, hello everyone. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Well, that's so great. So, today we are starting with a new journey, and this journey is for the upcoming 2026 paper, and it's regarding the JEE mains preparation for the upcoming 2026. Right. So, let's get started with this session on today. We are going to basically start with functions. Hi, Brain Booster by Utkarsh Mishra. Hello. Okay. So, hi. Huh. Okay. ठीक है तो बेसिकली आज हम इस क्लास में डिस्कस करने वाले हैं रिगार्डिंग फंक्शंस ओके एंड टुडे फ्रॉम टुडे ऑनवर्ड्स वी आर स्टार्टिंग विद अ वेरी न्यू पर्टिकुलर पोर्शन एंड दैट इज स्पेशली फॉर द JEE mains in the 2026 paper. All right, so that's being said too much, and if you're currently in class 11th or currently in class 12th, that's being said much, you can always start watching these sessions for your upcoming preparation. Okay, and this sessions is going to be really helpful for the students who are preparing for the upcoming examination. Okay, so if you have started your class 11th, if you have started your class 12th and you are not sure on how to prepare for the JEE mains paper, here I am starting with a new series, and that is we are going to discuss the chapters formats, and in every day we are going to have these lectures, and especially in these lectures we are going to prepare especially for the mains. Once your mains preparation is done, we are also going to prepare for advance as well. Okay, so stay tuned for the sessions. If you're new to this platform, then I would say please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to never miss any upcoming notifications. Okay, we keep on having classes every day, so don't forget to miss that because that is very important. I know that consistency is a key. All right, so keeping those things in mind, let's get started with today's session. And today we're going to discuss about functions. All right. Now, before we start with the sessions on JEE mains, I would ask you, all of you, to have some things keeping in mind are is that before you start the sessions, I would request all of you to please have your NCRT and NCRT exemplar, right? Because you never know, sometimes the questions are directly from your NCRT and NCRT exemplars. Okay, so it's very important to grab these two textbooks. In case you don't have this physical textbook, it is also equally important to you may download it the PDF version as well. Those are easily available on the web. Okay, so please do download them and keep them handy at your own. Okay, and keep on solving them as I go on with the sessions. Okay, so in this session we are going to revise the topic of functions, and along with that we are also going to solve the questions. Okay, and we're going to see how you actually need to process those questions, and you are into how will you move forward with the questions. Okay, so that being said pretty much, and we let's get started on our today's session on functions. Okay, so this is all what we I need to said before we start the topic over here, right? So this sessions is generally for students currently in class 11th and class 12. Okay, so both of you, both of these gang members can definitely join in and stay tuned for the sessions. Okay, and before we start the topic, I would request all of you to have some notebook and a pen and keep on solving the questions with me along with the topics I process. Okay, so before we start with the topic of functions, I need to make sure that you know certain basic criteria that is needed to start with the chapter of functions. Okay, before we start with function, now why did I choose function? Because it's a very preliminary chapter, and it's a very preliminary chapter especially for calculus. Okay, to make an entry into calculus and understanding of algebra, even calculus, it's very important to have a good idea about functions. So that's why I took this topic in the beginning, so that you don't have any confusion with the upcoming topics. Okay, that's being said much, let's get started. And before we start, you need to also have an understanding about sets as well as relations. Okay, that's very important. Is that clear to all of you? Utkarsh Mishra, is it clear? Right. So please make sure that you recall these two topics before we start for this today's session of functions. Okay. So let's get started. And before we start, I'm here to announce a very important announcement, that is we are starting live online batches for 2026. Okay. This is going to be a game changer for students who want to prepare for the upcoming JEE mains and JEE advanced for the year 2026. These are the live batches. Anyone from class 11, class 12, can definitely stay tuned for these sessions. Okay, right. So this is very important. So keeping these things in mind, we will start with the sessions, and the price of this batches is starting just at rupees 999. Okay, so make sure you head for this, and in case you want to get more information about the batch information and all those things, you can definitely contact on this particular number over here. Okay, please contact this number to get more information. And if you, in case you want to get more batch related information, you can always join the Telegram channel. The link is in the description. Okay, if you go to the description of this video or this live stream, you can all find a Telegram link, and the Telegram channel is present in the description box. Okay, so please find the Telegram channel link in the description and join it to get more batch related information over there. Okay, we are going to start this batch very soon, so make sure you stay tuned and join these batches. Okay, grab your seats for this batch and let's get started on this batch. Okay, so with this, let's get started. And today our goal is, the only goal is basically to discuss the functions, especially for the JEE Mains 2026. Let's start. Before we start with functions, it's very important to have some understanding about the domain, the codomain, and the range, because this is all that you're going to do for the most amount of time. Right now, if you have a function, now it's a function. For a function to be defined, it is to be defined in between two particular sets. Okay, let's say a function is defined between two set A and B. So whenever we do the mapping from a particular set to another set, the map is done from one set to another, and the set from which the map is done, that is called as a domain set, or we call it as a domain, right? So this is a notation of how we write the function. So f of a to b, and this set A is generally called as the domain of f, and the set B is called as the codomain of f. That is very same as a nomenclature of relation. Then all the set of images of the elements A that we have under the map of the function are basically called as a range of f. Right. So once we have this understanding, then the domain of f is generally defined by this following nomenclature over here. The domain is a very simple thing. In terms, you can understand that it is the possible inputs that I can give into the function to get a possible output of image. Right. So this is what the domain looks like, and then whatever is the image of the domain, that is defined as the range. Okay. So range is basically a subset of the codomain. Okay. Now it should be noted that the range is a subset of codomain, and it's the only rule of the function. Given then the domain of the function is a set of all those real number where the functions is defined. Why is it said it belongs to A? Why is it said A belongs to A? Okay, yeah, A belongs to A means A is an element. Okay, see, look at over here. So when we define the function going from set A to set B, A is any element. A is any element. Okay, A is any element of set A. Small a is any element of set capital A. Okay, we generally denote the set by capital letters. Okay, and A is basically the element. Okay, it is the element. Okay, so that's why it is said that A belongs to A. So it is said that the small a belongs to the set A, such that A comma f of A, right, A comma f of A, this is the element of the function. This is the element of the map f, or the function f, right? That is how you define the domain. Is this clear? Is this clear? Ref ex op gaming, reflex op gaming, right? Yes. So is this part clear? Yes, no, anything? And similarly the case goes for range as well. So range is basically all the outputs. Okay, range is basically all these outputs. Okay, so for what all inputs of x, or I mean the what all inputs of the domain, what is the output, that is basically defined as the range. Okay, it's very simple and straightforward. Is this part clear? Reflex op gaming. right? Now, there is one more important thing that you need to remember, that what all functions we are talking about in this particular portion, we are definitely going to talk about the real functions, okay? That basically means that whatever inputs you're going to give into the set are all real numbers. So we are not going to talk about complex numbers in the functions and even the calculus part as well, okay? So all functions we're going to talk about is the real functions, right? And then it is said that if the domain of f of x is d1 and the domain of g of x is d2, then the domain of g of x plus or minus f of x plus or minus g of x is basically the intersection of d1 and d2. It is very important to know this. Similarly, if you have multiplication as well as division, so something like f of x upon g of x, the domain is d1 intersecting d2, except those points where, so for this, the domain is d1 intersecting d2, except those points where g of x is equals to 0, except those points for g of x equals to 0 for all x belongs to real number, okay? So this being said, if you get this particular intersection of the sets, this basically defined the domain, okay? This is the defined domain. Is this part clear to all of you? Is this part clear? This is very important to get started on the learning of sets and relation, and then to take on from the functions as well, okay? Because once you understand this, you can go on solving any types of question as well, okay? So it is very important to have an understanding. Otherwise, when you start joining the question, it is going to be very difficult, okay? Is this clear to all of you? Do let me know in case you have any questions, okay? So once this part is clear, one more thing I want all of you to have an attention on is basically plotting graph, okay? Some in questions of functions, it's very important to have an understanding on how you should go about plotting a graph, okay? Now in this very slide, I have listed down some of the important tips that you need to follow whilst you are plotting the graph of functions, okay? So some of the very tips are going to be very handy in order if you want to go on plotting the graph of any function, okay? Let's say let's say we have the functions, and first of all, what you need to understand about the function is that you have to check for the continuity nature. First and foremost thing, it's basically to check for the continuity nature, okay? So whenever you get any function, one more thing before you check for the continuity is basically you need to check whether at which points the function's denominator is going equals to 0, or whether it has some discontinuity in its domain or not. And also we said that it's very important to have an understanding about the domain. Once you understand about the domain, the next task is basically to understand about the range, right? So that is very important, and it's a very crucial thing about a function that you need to have in mind, that given any function, you have to talk about two things: domain, range. Once you get that, check in its domain at which points the function is not defined. At which point the function is not defined. For example, if I have a rational function and the denominator is going equals to 0. So are those points where the denominator is equals to 0, those point the function is not defined. So you need to find out for those points where the function is not defined and then eliminate those points, right? So here are some tips that you need to help you to get started on how to draw the function. And then if the numerator and the denominator have a common factor, let's say x equals to a, and it means it's a removable discontinuity, okay? It's a removable discontinuity. Then you can take a note of that as well, and along with that you also have to check for the monotonicity nature. That's whether it's a always increasing function or always a decreasing function, or whether it has some certain interval in which it is increasing, certain interval in which it is decreasing, right? So that is very important. And then you have to compute the curvature. Now in order to compute the curvature, the best technique is basically to find the second derivative. So let's say y is equal to f of x is your curve, okay? So after you check for the increasing decreasing nature, you do find the second derivative, and then try to understand what is the sign of the second derivative in different interval of x, okay? the sign of second derivative. If your second derivative, let's say your second derivative, or let's say I will write double dash of x, it is positive, then your curve is concave up. And if your second derivative is getting negative, then your curve is concave down. Okay, so keep a note on these two things is very, very important. And once you're able to understand that, then, and one more thing that you need to also take a note of is that you have to find the critical points, right? So that is the points where f dash of x is equals to 0 or it is not defined. So try to find the critical point as well, because it's very important, because at the critical point the curvature of the slope generally changes. Okay, also there can be certain points where the curvature does not change, or where the curvature actually changes, but it is not a point of maxima or not a point of minima, that is a point of inflection. Okay, so it's also very, very important to have an understanding about the point of inflection as well. Now this is pretty much that you need to get understand about on starting on how to plot any graph of a function. Okay, so please make a note of this, because this is going to be very, very important. Okay, that's being said pretty much. And sometimes you also need to plot, or you need to get a value at certain point. That is, I would say, please try to find the values at the 3 point first of all, that is at x equals to 0, x equals to positive infinity, and x equal to negative infinity. Now I know infinity is not a number, so you cannot directly put in the function and get the value out of it. So you need to use the concept of limit over there, right? So try to plot the limiting value of the function as x tends to 0, as x tends to infinity, as x tends to negative infinity. So with this all, you are basically ready to start on how to plot the functions. Okay, so here I have some certain examples. Like this example is talking about how to plot the graph of the function. The function is mentioned as x upon natural log of x. Okay, so this is a function. I need to plot the graph of it. So I leave this particular part as a homework to all of you. Please try to solve this, and you can upload your solutions in the Telegram channel itself. Okay, please try to solve this, and with this particular tips that I have given over here, and the very solution also looks the same over here. You can check the solution is also given, but I would request all of you to please solve it and post your answers, in the Telegram channel. Right, this is going to be very, very helpful for all of you. Okay, because if you do it by your own and try to understand that whatever you got it understanding, this is going to be really a game changer for all of you. Okay, so make sure that you understand it and do it by yourself, and then you compare with the results over here. It's going to be a very fun activity for all of you. Okay, so that's being said, pretty much let's jump on to solving some real questions. Okay, so in this session, I'm also going to solve some questions, and I want you to also try to understand and solve as well. Okay, so here we go on the solving some of the important questions that I've taken up from here. So let's try to solve this first question over here. Now it's a question about finding the domain and the range over here, right? So let's try to go about with the question over here. And if we look at the problem over here, it says that we have a function, and the function f of x and g of x, and the first function, that is f of x, is defined as cos inverse of 4x plus 5 divided by 3x minus 7. And it says the domain of this particular function is x going from belonging to alpha to beta, open interval, sorry, closed interval, right? And then we have another function g of x, which is defined as natural log of 2 minus 6 times of log of 2x plus of 5 base 27, and then this log has a base 2, and this domain, in the domain of G, goes from gamma to delta open interval, right? So that is what is basically given over here. I have to find out the value of alpha, beta, gamma, and delta. Very easy. Let's go about doing it step by step. So if you look at the first function over here, it's a cos inverse function, and cos inverse function are generally defined for example, if you have a cos inverse of x, it is defined when x is basically lying between -1 to plus of 1. So here you will have 4x plus 5 divided by 3x minus 7 should be between 1 and minus of 1. Right. So if you solve this, you are going to get the interval of x. Okay. So if I just try to solve it, first if I'm solving this part of the limit, this part of the inequality, so you will get some inequality like 7x minus 2 divided by 3x minus 7 should be greater than or equal to 0, which brings us to the interval of, so from this you will get the interval of x belongs to minus infinity to 2 by 7 union 7 upon 3 to infinity, right? And then if I try to solve this part of the inequality over here, then you will get the following condition as 4x, you'll get the condition as, so you keep on solving with me, okay, otherwise you're going to lose out on the steps. It's going to be x plus 12 divided by 3x minus 7 should be less than or equals to 0, and this will give you the inequality region as minus 12 to 3 upon 7, and this is going to be open interval and this is going to be closed interval over here, right? So if you take the common region of this x from this first and the second one over here, you're going to get the domain of f going from x belongs to minus 12 to 7 upon 3, minus 12 to 7 upon 3, right? Okay, so that will give you the domain of um yeah, so that will give you the domain of f of x. Okay, so this should be an open and this should be closed and this should be closed as well, right? So this is going to be a value of alpha and this is going to be a value of my beta. Then if I go on and check for the domain of g of x in the same way, so if I go and check on the domain, so that should be 2 minus 6 times of log base 27, 2x plus 5, this should be greater than 0, and if I try to solve this, we're going to get x plus 5 should be less than 3, and that basically gives you x should be less than minus of 1, x should be less than minus of 1 over here, right? And as well you have to also check for 2x plus 5 should also be greater than 0, and that basically gives x should be greater than minus of 5 upon 2. So that basically gives you a domain of g of x for x belongs to minus of 5 by 2 to minus of 1, right? So this is going to be your gamma and this is going to be delta. So once you have alpha, beta, gamma and delta, the value of 7 times of alpha plus beta plus 4 times of gamma plus delta and the mod of it, this value is going to come out as minus 82 minus 14, and mod of that is going to be equals to 96. So the numerical value to this question is going to be simply equals to 96 over here. Is this solution clear to all of you? Is this solution clear to all of you? Please let me know if this is clear or not. Is this part clear to all of you? Please do let me know in case you have any questions. Okay, so I'm going to a live chat. Hi Deepu. Deepu Behra, this is not clear? Which part is not clear? Deepu Behra, which part is not clear? Please tell me. Which part of the solution is not clear? Deepu, you need to tell me which part of the solution is not clear, then I can help you off with that. Please let me know, Deepu, which part is not clear. Okay, so since you are not letting me know, let's move to the next part. Okay, so next we have another question, and it is a different type of question, and a concept is very important. Is that we have a set, and the set is defined by certain condition over here, and then we have another set B, which is defined as follows. You have to find the number of one function that can be done from set A to set B. Now this is a basically one shot, so I'm not basically talking much on the important concepts about the one functions and all those over here. Okay, how you write x minus infinity to 2 upon 7. Okay, so this part you are confused about, right? So this is all about from the Webicom method. See Deepu, this is from the Webicom method. Okay, how I'm doing it? In Webicom method, you have to plot the critical points, or the part where this numerator and the denominator is going to 0, right? So if you plot them, so from the numerator, if is equal to 0, it is basically 2 upon 7, and from denominator it is basically 7 upon 3. Okay, so if you plot that 2 upon 7, and then it is 7 upon 3, and then if you apply the Webicom method, this can be plus, minus, and plus, and you want the positive region. So this is your region you are interested, and this is also the region you are interested. So that's what I wrote written over here. Okay, just make use of the Webicom method. Okay, Deepu, is that clear to you, Deepu? Okay, so that's being said much, and let's move to the next problem over here, right? So here we have to talk about the number of one function that can be done. Okay, so let's see the set A, and the set A is consisting of the elements x comma y such that 2x plus 3y is equal to 23, and x comma y belongs to natural number. And then we have another set B for x such that your x comma y belongs to set A. Okay, for x comma y belongs to set A, and you have to find out all that x. Okay, so if you have this, let's say, then let us try to find out for which values of x and y you will have the sum as equals to 23. So then from there, if you find it out, you're going to get certain pairs of ordered pair, that is 1 comma 7, 4 comma 5, and 7 comma 3, and then you're going to have 10 comma 1 are all the following order pair that is possible for this set A, right? And the set B is generally going to consist of 1, 4, 7, and 10. Okay, 1, 4, 7, and 10. So therefore, if you try to find it out, so if you try to find out the number of possible solution, or the total number of one function that can be produced from set A to set B, since set A has 4 elements and set B also has 4 elements, is very easy. So when you have to plot a one function between two sets, okay, so you have to draw a one map, right? Right. So if you have to produce one map, the total number of one function, total one map that is possible is given by 4 factorial, is simply given by 4 factorial, because the number of sets in B is also 4 and number of sets in A is also 4. So that basically gives you a simple answer as equals to 24. It's a very simple, straightforward problem. When the number of sets in A and set B are equal, and you have to draw the number of one functions, then it's just simply equals to the number of elements in B and factorial of that. Okay, it's a very simple, straightforward result. Okay, so the number of one function here over here, you're going to have it as 24. Is that part clear to all of you? Is that part clear to all of you? Arhab's Asthana. Arhab said, do we have to take 7, 2, 5, 4, and 3, 7, and 2, and 10? Yes. 7 comma, see, 1 comma 7 will be there, 4 comma 5 will be there, 7 comma 3 will be there, and 10 comma 1 will be there. Okay. Asthana, please correct it. Okay. In set A. Yes, yes. Just correct those elements. Okay. It should be x comma y, not y comma x. 7 comma 3 will be there, and then we will have 4 comma 5, and then we will have um 1 comma 7, and then we will have 10 comma 1. Okay, 10 comma 1. right? This will be the elements in set A. Okay, this will be the elements in set A. Just check your solution again. Oh, sorry. Okay, not an issue. Okay, please don't make these kinds of silly mistakes. Okay, whenever you're doing the question, first point of thumb of rule is basically is that have patience. Okay, have patience. Looking at an easy question, sometimes we tend to hurry up and we tend to make mistakes. Okay, so please don't do this kind of mistakes again. Okay, is that clear to all of you? Is that part clear to all of you? Please do let me know in case you have any questions. Right, I hope this session is being helpful for all of you. मोहित देवागन, ये जेई मेंस का क्वेश्चन है. सॉरी आई कैन नॉट रीड हिंदी बट एनसीईआरटी के सवाल, ये जेई मेंस का क्वेश्चन है. मोहित देवागन, ये जेई मेंस का क्वेश्चन है. यस, यू आर करेक्ट. दैट्स ग्रेट, दैट्स ग्रेट. Okay, that's wonderful. So okay, so that's being said pretty much, and today is our first session regarding JEE Mains. So I want to give certain homework to all of you. Okay, I want all of you to sit for the questions, try to solve them, and try to have an understanding over it. Okay, so it's very very important to get an understanding as well as solve some questions. Okay, and we are also going to have one short kind of session where we're going to sit for a long session like 2 or 3 hours, and we're going to complete all the theories, all the and as well as underlying questions about it. Okay, so we're going to do theory and questions, and that's how we're going to complete the entire chapter of functions. Okay, so this was a very first lecture, and I wanted to make this lecture a short and try to give you an important idea and important understanding of the important topics that is important for JEE mains and as well as JEE advanced also, right? And the questions I'm taking up is a random questions from JEE mains and JEE advanced previous year paper in order to make yourself comfortable with solving them. Okay, so once you are comfortable with this, I'm going to take up different questions from different textbooks and different places, and we're also going to solve and try to understand them. Okay, so I want to leave certain homework for all of you. So this is your homework number 1. So this is the homework number 1. Please take a screenshot. Please take a screenshot of this, right? And this is your homework number 2. This is your homework number 2. In this question, we will take f of m as km and solve it. In this question, we will take f of m as km and solve it. Okay, I understand that you know the functional equations form and it's very simple. Yeah, that's great. That's great, Asthana. That's great. Yes, you can solve like that. Okay. Deepu, can you suggest any book for advanced? Yes, I can suggest many book for advanced, but first and foremost is you have to be very clear with first and the most important textbook that I would refer for mains, advanced, any exams is NCERT and the NCERT exemplar. That's is very very important. Anyway, you're going to say that those questions are very simple, straightforward, but still NCERT and NCERT exemplar is very very important. After that you're done solving that, I would say you can go with the Cengage series. Okay, Cengage or the Arihant series, which one of you can like, any one of it. Both has its own way of teaching the concept. Okay, you can go with Cengage series or you can go with the Arihant series. That is pretty much a good book for mains and advanced level, which is specifically written for JEE. Okay, so I can suggest that book. And if you want to go more into question solving and want to practice more of different types of questions and all that, you can always go with different questions problem practice books as well. There are a lot of problems books available in the market for advanced as well as mains. Okay, so maybe you can go with the so-called black book. Okay, and you can also go with the 1000 problems, challenging problems for J advanced maths. Okay, so all those, there are a lot of books. Okay, you can always solve them. Sir, where are you from? Well, currently I'm from IIT Kharagpur. Okay, you can read about me in the description box. Okay, Asthana. Okay, so that being said, much. So let's finish our session over here. I hope you have taken the screenshot of the homework problem, and please post your answers in the Telegram channel. Okay, if you got the answers, please post in the Telegram channel, Okay, and let me know the numerical answer. You can also post your numerical answers in the comment section as well. Okay, I will try to answer back to your solutions and or your answers. Okay, in case you're not able to solve it, okay, your hometown I'm asking. Okay, I'm from West Bengal, and I belong from a very small town, Chittaranjan. Okay, is that clear, Asana? Anything else you want to interview me? Well, I have answered all of your questions then. Anything else? Anyone? Any more questions? Please let me know if you have any more questions or not. Okay, and stay tuned for the upcoming sessions. Okay, this is the session that I'm going to take each and every day. No said thank you. Okay, okay, that's fine. Asana. Okay, so Asana, don't forget to stay tuned for the upcoming session as well. Okay, because these sessions are going to be very useful for your upcoming preparation of mains and advance. Okay, and I believe that you are from class 12th. Yes, Asthana, are you from class 12th or class 11th, or are you a dropper? Which one of it? Yes, yes, class 12th. Okay, great. So Asthana, don't forget to stay tuned for the sessions. Okay, because this is going to be very helpful, and these sessions are available just for free on YouTube. You just need to stay on into YouTube and watch these sessions. Okay, don't worry, we are going to solve a lot of questions so that all the questions get embedded into your practice. Okay, so that being said, pretty much, okay, please make sure that you turn on the notification icon over there beside the subscribe button. Okay, so that you don't miss out any upcoming notification. Okay, so with this, let me take a leave from today's session. Okay, and we'll meet again in the upcoming session over there. All right, so with this, bye bye.